Okay, so I took my kids to see Gracyn from Gracie's Corner, the voice of Gracie's Corner. And so that's what we did this morning. We went to Kindred Stories in Third Ward area and we picked up our 2 signed books and they got to meet Gracyn. And so here's a quick picture of that. And then we went to the park and here is a little video of that. And then we grabbed some food and I'm gonna go and make this a little video, or I'm gonna go and put together the rest of this video where I share my unpopular opinions and about just books and like book culture. And it's very loose, it's very just general, just thoughts I've been having over the last few months, I suppose. And they won't be all of my thoughts, but there'll be some of the thoughts that I've been having, and maybe I'll do another video where I follow up with a bit more or go more in depth about what I'm kind of like witnessing and what I'm liking and what I'm not liking and what is overrated and what we should pay more attention to. And what else am I, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare a matcha and I'm going to sit down with you guys. I'm going to talk to you about what I think. And then we'll move and I will show you what my space looks like. It's chaotic, but there are books everywhere and that is good. But I'll show you what the space is looking like and what I, as I get organized and get my stuff in the places where I want it and get more book storage, furniture, and all those kinds of things, bookcases, why did I say that? Get more bookcases, I will be able to show you guys how I'm reorganizing and putting things, in their place. And so in the meantime, I hope you enjoy this sort of catch-all what's been happening with me video, and yeah. Hello. Sorry, I thought that there was somebody coming up to my house. My name is Kayla, and I want to share some of my opinions. I don't know if they're exactly unpopular opinions because I think that the general reading population is diverse enough that somebody else, shares similar opinions to me, and that's fine. But I made a list, or I've been making a little list of things that I think are kind of interesting in the book community, and ignore those boxes. Remember, I just moved back into this house and we just finished the house just got finished getting put back together. And so this weekend is the weekend that we get to start putting all of the boxes that have just been stashed in the dining room back into the various places they belong in. Anyways, that being said, I've been making a list here and there of kind of popular opinions that I don't necessarily agree with, or I think could use a little bit of clarifying, I guess. And so I want to talk about some of those things, and maybe what it'll be is like a short series, because I definitely can't talk about every single unpopular opinion I have. Can you see my cat? I can't talk about every single unpopular opinion that I have right now because it would take a long time because I talk a lot. But I can share some of the things that I've been thinking about, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm going to jump around a little bit, and so if I'm scrolling, don't mind me. This one I think is kind of getting better, but there's this idea that audiobooks don't count as reading. So unpopular opinion number one. To me, audiobooks count as reading, and depending on what it is you're reading, sometimes it's even a better experience. Often when I'm reading something that's pretty dense or very, very, very long, I'll do some sort of like a hybrid reading thing where, I'll read some of it on paper and then I'll jump to the audio version, or sometimes I'll do it at the same time where I'm listening and reading physically. That especially is helpful when you're reading something like an older classic like a Tolstoy, or when you are reading something that's like not just nonfiction but like more of a dense, technical, scientific leaning nonfiction. It can help that really get in. And I think it's akin to when you have a professor and you're in school and you've read what it is the assigned reading was, and then you go to class so that you can have a deeper explanation of it. Or sometimes like having read alouds in class where hearing somebody else say the words or hearing the inflections of their voice when they're reading things kind of makes you get a more substantial grasp on what's going on. And so I think that we should acknowledge that audio reading is reading. I will say I'm one of those people who didn't acknowledge that. I was very much like, is that reading? But that's because I really, really enjoy physically reading a book, and I didn't do as many audiobooks. But now, after having more exposure to audiobooks on my own, because I know that my family's always done audiobooks on like road trips and stuff like that, but just choosing to do audiobooks on my own, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get quite a lot more reading done. I can keep reading even when I can't physically pick up a book, like if I'm cleaning or if I'm driving or whatever. And I think it's just very, very effective to utilize that. The only thing is you really have to pay attention when you're listening to an audiobook. You can kind of zone out a little bit. And so you just kind of have to like make sure that you can pay attention. But anyway, so that's number one. Number two, unpopular opinion number two. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it is. It is healthy to DNF books you're not enjoying. I don't understand why so many people read so many books they don't like. And I feel like maybe it's like booktube, book talk, culture or whatever, that like you're trying to get as many books in as possible. And so you, like, if you've started something and you've gotten over a certain percentage, like you're 30% in, okay, well, I gotta finish it now because I've wasted this time. And I don't know, I personally think that we should do less worrying about how many books we're finishing, and we should focus more on the quality of the book. And so, for me, if it's not a good read, I'm just not going to continue with it because I'm wasting valuable time. I've got so many books that I want to be reading, and I can't do that because the books, I'm wasting time on other things. Unpopular opinion. Star ratings don't matter. That's my opinion. I do like look at star ratings when I'm picking up a book. I'm like, oh, this has this or this has that. I do look at that. I'm not saying I don't look. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter. I rate my books on vibes. Did this fit the vibe? Did this feel good? Was it the right time? Like that kind of stuff. I think that star ratings can sometimes be a little bit arbitrary. And I've read so many books that didn't necessarily have the highest ratings, but were amazing reading experiences. And so I think there is something to be said about, I think there's something to be said about not letting that be the thing that, allows you to enjoy a book or not enjoy a book. There's more to it than who said, it was worth reading. Oh, I prefer standalones to series. So I do enjoy series. There are so many books that I've had a good experience reading multiples of. You know, I'm thinking of Twilight, I'm thinking of Carry On, that trilogy. I'm thinking of, I'm almost finished with A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm on the last book of that, and so that's been a good reading experience. So what else? I'm listening to my cat and I'm like, what is she doing? Yeah, so I think that there have been really, really good reading experiences like that. However, I find that the books that I enjoy the most are the ones where I get to get attached to the story and then have to deal with it leaving me after. And so, yeah, it's not that I don't like series, it's just that I like standalones far more. What else? What else? What else? What else? World building is better than plot in fantasy. I think this is, let me explain. So I care about the plot. I do want to know what's happening and where we're going, but I think in a fantasy, world building is so much more important than the plot, and it's very nice when it's balanced, but the world building is what makes the atmosphere feel real. And when an atmosphere feels real, it's kind of less important like the destination. It's more about kind of like the journey. And I think this is also related to how I feel about the contemporary fiction, like lit fic that I read, where I'm more into like character development than I am into the plot as well, because I just want like a real palpable story and people to connect to within the story. And so I feel like in lit fic and in like more like epic fantasy, those things kind of go hand in hand. And so I think that plot and world building and character development, that whole thing, which kind of go hand in hand, I think they're more important than the plot. But that's just me. I don't know how many things I've done, but I'm gonna make this one my last one. I think that it's totally okay to buy books because they're pretty. Buying a book just because the cover is beautiful is an excellent reason to buy a book. And I know that sometimes people want to, say that the cover isn't what should make you like a book and all of that. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but what I am saying is when I used to go to the library as a kid and, do my whole little search for books and things, I was looking at covers. I wasn't reading the backs of the books. I was looking at the covers and I was like, this feels right. And then I went and I bought myself the book because the cover was pretty. And I think that there is something really nice about kind of going back to that mode of picking books, just like letting something stand out to you as opposed to having 15 people tell you it was good, like online. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get feedback and ask questions and things like that. I'm obviously like here on YouTube because I enjoy doing the same thing. I enjoy looking at people, listening to people tell me, what books are interesting to them, and like I like that. I'm just saying that there's something to also allowing yourself to be curious and choosing books that way. And why not choose books because of aesthetics? Why not? I think it's a great idea. Let me see. Should I do one more? Okay, this is my last one. And this is kind of obvious, but not all book talk trending books are created equal. And I would say, please, let's not just buy books because they're popular on Book Talk. I think that's it. I also, okay, so that was funny. That was fun. I also wanted to show you a little bit about what's going on my shelves. vlogging, I thought it would also be kind of cute to look at the disarray that is my bookish area. And so let me show you that. Okay, so most of my books live here. These are the boxes that I had brought with me when we were living away this year. And so some of them I've unloaded, some of them are not there. This is a beautiful piece of art I got from the Reeves Art Gallery in, where is it? Montrose. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, and also, like, I don't want to show you this, but I'm going to show you. Back there, there's a bookcase in this room as well that has a lot more just, like, non-fic and, like, literary stuff, and so I say all this to say, like, it's it's bookish chaos here. It's bookish chaos. But so we've got these guys, again, pretty messy. It is what I was carrying with me. We've got these. This shelf has, let me see if I can zoom out. Not really. Okay, we'll just leave it. This shelf has more or less stayed the same. We have my little TBR jar, some bookmarks, pencils, and sweetgrass. There's just random stuff up there. And then here we have, this shelf is really mainly my Shakespeare collection or Shakespeare commentary. And so you've got like, there's a little bit of parenting stuff in there, but I feel like I should turn this one out. Let me see if I can, oopsie. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah. I feel like that makes more sense. But anyway, so we've got Shakespeare commentary, and over here just a little bit of classic stuff. But I do have a classic section, and I am going to have to reorganize this because, we have Hamnet, because this is a Shakespeare retelling, and yeah, I'm going to have to rearrange a lot of this because you'll see when I get to the other side that it's pure chaos. The second shelf is all poetry, all of it. And poetry is probably what I read the most of. And then I have like various journals over there, but poetry is what I read the most of and what I read the most consistently. I feel like I need to talk about that more on this channel, but yeah, I really need to learn how to aim. We've got poetry here, and you can see there's a lot of Ocean Vuong, like a lot. There is, and you'll find him in literature over there as well. I think I'm going to move him to, anyways. We've got Rumi, we've got Shelley. This Frost collection is one of my most prized possessions. I've had it since college, I believe. And then these Emily Dickinson, she's another favorite of mine. Sorry, my dog is scratching. And we've got Lucille Clifton. We've got a lot going on here. This third shelf is Gizmo. Please, sir. Let me show you. He has a cone. Gizmo, say hi to the people, Gizmo. He has a cone on right now because he's recovering from an allergy. So he's scratching. Okay. This is my classic and like postmodern stuff, modern classic, whatever you want to call it. And so a lot of Toni Morrison, just a lot. Some James Baldwin. I have more James Baldwin probably in this box over here, but the only one I've read so far as an adult is Go Tell It on the Mountain, but Giovanni's Room is on the list. Giovanni's Room is next for me, but I've read a lot of Toni Morrison, still plugging away at my little Read Toni Morrison in Order project. I've got a lot of Penguin classics here. It's a good addition for collecting classics, I think, because it's really easy to annotate. It's a good size, all that good stuff. And I have a couple of favorite kinds of editions I like to collect of different things, but I would say for Shakespeare, it's the Arden Shakespeare, and then for the classics. It's the Penguin classics so far. Obviously, I have plenty of time to discover what I love more. And then what else do we have? Yeah, just some more classics. We have Daphne du Maurier. We have Tolstoy. That edition of War and Peace is the one I read out of. It's massive. Let me put my hand next to it so you can see. Like, it's massive. And yeah. I haven't read all of these, but they're good. They're I'm glad they're there. I think I have a few more things on the other. I have Huckleberry Finn. Oopsie. I've got Ulysses. Couple different editions maybe. There we go. Okay. On this side, or on this last shelf, before I moved house for the year, this was only Portuguese literature. I think I've moved it around a little bit, but I've got a lot of Portuguese literature, meaning literature in Portuguese, not all like from Portugal. Some of it's from Brazilian people and Brazilian writers. But I, for those of you who don't know, have been interested in the Portuguese language for a really long time and speak Portuguese pretty well. And I did a literary, what would you call it, retreat, I guess, in Portugal called Disquiet, where I got to do like a poetry focused study. That was really fun. Also, my children's father is from Portugal, and so the month that I was there for that project, that workshop, they got to spend the month with their family, and it was super fun. So, and some of this stuff is just translated literature as well. So, yeah. What else do we got back there? George Saunders back there. I wonder what he said back there. And I think I have also some, let me see if I can get a shot of it. Theories in translation. I'm interested in translating literature. It's fun for me, so yeah. Okay. What else should I show you? Okay, this is super messy, but this is Flash comic book collection, and this is because of my oldest child's oldest name. My oldest child's name. His name is Barry Allen. Yes, all of that. And their father had this comic thing made for them when they were very, very, very small. And so if you can see the little bottom one, you think so. You have them at my new friends, Milo and Barry, and those are my son's names. I don't even know how to explain all of this, but a lot of books just kind of piled right now. We've got Elena Ferrante here. We've got Crapalacha. There we go. Salvage the Bones. Yeah, lots of random stuff. Oh, some more classics. Some more classics in here. Some of these were water damaged during the storm, which is awful. And then this is my other shelf. This is an identical shelf to the one that I showed you over there. So the top of this shelf is fantasy of all sorts, just all kinds of fantasy. And there are a couple things missing here and there because they're like being read or they're on my going to be read shelf. Yeah. And then here we have some manga and some graphic novels and other random things. I think Eleanor and Park is only here because Carry On was right there, but I didn't want to put this with like the fantasy stuff, and so I just put it below. But there's no rhyme or reason to the organization otherwise. We have a Jasmine Guillory. I don't know how I feel about this particular style of writing. What else do we have? That's the first book of A Court of Thorns and Roses over there, or of ACOTAR. And Obviously we have Game of Thrones. I read those two. I'm reading the third one right now. And then down here we have romance and literary fiction, I suppose. And so, Great Big Beautiful Life, Sally Rooney. I have a couple more of her books. We have Ocean Vuong. I told you he'd come up again over here. This is The Emperor of Gladness. And I have a couple copies because one of them is dedicated and one of them is not dedicated. One of them is signed to me. Is that dedicated? And then one of them is just signed from when I went to the book thing. I don't know. We've got a couple other literary fictions. We've got Kairos. We've got The Trio. I think The Trio and The Door I picked up in London at Daunt Books. I'm like nearly positive that's what happened. Yeah, that one, and then Dogs of Summer, which like you can't see, but it's like that little red book back there. And then, oh, there's Yellowface. Still figuring out if I'm going to read that one. And then down here, I don't know really what's going on down here. It's kind of a bunch of random stuff, but let's see. Mouse was really, really good. It's technically an autobiography, but it's visually represented as a graphic novel. That one was really good. And so is Lena Finkel's Magical something. I took a Jewish Magic Barkle. I took a Jewish studies course in college, and I kept the books that I really, really enjoyed, and I have since reread them, which was nice. Chabin was also good. I haven't read all of these. I have not read all of these. I haven't read You. I haven't read The Testament. How do you guys feel about the Selection series? I started reading it and I just didn't enjoy it. And then there are a couple of philosophical books in here as well. There are my Bibles. Got just a bunch of stuff in here. Oh, and I haven't even shown you because wait, there's more. This is like my little stand where books I'm kind of currently talking about or currently thinking about reading live. And so you've got all of these guys and all of these guys down here. I really, really want to read Spark of the Everflame. I have it both on my Kindle and physical because I have found that carrying around a bunch of books, even though I do it, isn't an effective strategy for trying to read. The Fury, I really, really want to read because the other two of Alex Michaelides' books that I've read have been really good. And yeah, I'm interested in reading all of these. Okay. So basically this, what do you call it? This vlog, if you will, is kind of like a hodgepodge of what I did basically today and what I'm looking forward to and what I'm thinking about all of the books that, or kind of what I'm thinking about books just in general, and Gizmo the dog. Yeah, and I guess a first look at what I'm working with in terms of like how many books I have to organize, which means I need tons more bookcases and book storage and stuff like that. And I'm really excited to figure that out. Interestingly enough, a lot of the books I own have spent many years being cycled in and out of book stacks, like on the floor or in boxes, because I just have never had the opportunity to make my library space my own and have enough space to put all of the books out. And now I do. And I'm really, really excited about that because there is nothing that will bring me greater joy in my space than to be surrounded by a bunch of books. It just brings me a lot of peace. It makes me calm. And Bummer, please don't do that. Please don't do that. yeah, and I'm just excited for all of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little vlog, life update, book environment update video. What else is happening? I think that that's really it. Yeah, that's really it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this update, and I will see you in the next one.